We seek out spaces that promise healing: yoga studios, wellness centers, spiritual retreats. They're marketed as sanctuaries, places to let our guard down and grow. The language, safe, sacred, nurturing, creates an expectation of trust. We believe we'll be protected, physically and emotionally, but this trust can be a double-edged sword. When we lower our defenses, we become more susceptible to suggestion and less likely to question authority. In our search for healing, we sometimes overlook red flags that would be obvious elsewhere. The desire to believe in transformation can override our intuition. What happens when that trust is exploited? When the guide to wellness leads us into danger? The story of Maren Cole is a chilling reminder. Harm can be inflicted even in the most benevolent environments. The language of empowerment and healing can be twisted to serve a darker purpose. The very places we run to for safety can become the sites of our deepest wounds. This isn't a warning against wellness, it's a call to vigilance. True healing requires us to honor our boundaries and recognize that our safety is non-negotiable. The wellness world can be a force for good, but only if we enter it with our eyes wide open. Maren Cole was more than a yoga instructor. She was a brand, a beacon of modern wellness. Her social media radiated positivity and strength. She seemed to have it all: a thriving business, a devoted community, and a mystical connection to yoga. Her classes were packed, her workshops sold out, and her students spoke of her with reverence. Maren's appeal was strongest for women seeking to reclaim their bodies and power. She spoke of breaking limitations, finding strength in vulnerability, and her nurturing style made her seem trustworthy, like a friend or mentor. The community she built felt exclusive, special, a circle of enlightenment. Loyalty was paramount. Questioning her methods was seen as spiritual immaturity. Maren wasn't just teaching yoga, she was selling a lifestyle, a belief system, an identity. Her students became disciples, trusting her implicitly with their well-being. This absolute trust was the foundation of her power, but it was also the tool she allegedly used to lead students down a path of harm, all under the guise of enlightened practice. The line between inspiration and manipulation blurred, and that's where the danger began. Maren Cole's most insidious tactic wasn't just physical risk, it was psychological manipulation. She cloaked risky practices in the language of empowerment: lean into discomfort, trust the process. Dizziness and panic weren't warning signs, they were framed as spiritual breakthroughs. Students were taught to reinterpret their body's distress as progress, not danger. This is gaslighting, pure and simple. In a healthy context, encouragement helps us grow. But Maren used it to override survival instincts. Admitting fear was seen as failure, not wisdom. The pressure to comply was immense. No one wanted to be the one who couldn't handle it. By co-opting feminist ideals, Maren made her methods even harder to question. She taught that empowerment meant silencing your inner voice and submitting to her authority. The very language meant to liberate became a tool for subjugation. Students learned to doubt themselves, not the practice. And that's how harm hid in plain sight. The breath control techniques Maren Cole allegedly taught weren't just intense, they were physiologically dangerous. Prolonged, forced breath retention can induce hypoxia, oxygen deprivation. This isn't a spiritual breakthrough, it's a medical emergency. Tingling, dizziness, visual distortions. These are symptoms of your brain malfunctioning, not enlightenment. Pushing past these signs can lead to unconsciousness, seizures, even brain damage, or death. The body's warning signals, pain, panic, are there to protect you. Teaching students to ignore them is profoundly irresponsible. These practices also strain the heart, risking arrhythmias, heart attacks, or strokes. There's a clear line between healthy breathwork and self-induced asphyxiation. Ethical instructors encourage students to listen to their bodies and honor their limits. Yoga and breathwork should create harmony, not wage war on your physiology. Any teacher who asks you to ignore your body's pleas for safety is a liability, not a guide. Your body's wisdom is non-negotiable. Maren Cole's story is a case study in psychological grooming. It starts with trust. She presented herself as a wise, caring mentor, creating a community where students felt seen and accepted. This love-bombing phase showered students with validation. Then came boundary testing. Small pushes, more intense breath work, always rewarded with praise. Compliance became synonymous with progress. Next, she isolated students from their own judgment, teaching them to distrust fear and discomfort. An us versus them mentality silenced outside criticism. The leader's voice became the only one that mattered. Step by step, students' boundaries and judgment eroded. By the time practices became overtly dangerous, resistance was dismantled. Students were conditioned to believe their intuition was wrong, the leader always right. This isn't a failure of the student. It's a calculated betrayal by the person in power. Harm doesn't happen all at once. It's a slow, deliberate process, and it thrives in the shadows of trust. In healing communities, abuse of authority is a recurring pattern. Leaders are placed on pedestals, their wisdom seen as infallible. When the leader is nurturing and feminine, like Maren Cole, we're even less likely to suspect abuse. This blind spot makes warning signs hard to see. Authority is used to create secrecy. Students are told to keep class experiences confidential. This isolation prevents reality checks from outsiders and fosters shame. Financial and emotional dependency deepen the trap. Students invest time, money, and identity. Leaving means losing not just a teacher, but a whole community. This pattern isn't unique to yoga. It's found in cults, MLMs, and abusive relationships. Recognizing it is the first step to protecting ourselves. True authority empowers independent thought, not blind obedience. When harm occurs in wellness spaces, the conversation is often dominated by spiritual jargon. What's missing is medical expertise. Maren Cole's story isn't just about trust. It's about real physical risks from unqualified teachers. We need doctors and physiologists to explain what happens during dangerous practices. Their perspective is grounded in science, not wellness marketing. Medical analysis validates victims' experiences and shifts blame from student to perpetrator. It affirms that panic and dizziness are normal responses to danger, not personal failures. Medical oversight could lead to better standards and accountability in the wellness industry. Anyone can call themselves a guru now. Regulation is overdue. Public health demands a more rigorous approach. The dark side of wellness is, in many ways, a women's issue. These spaces are overwhelmingly populated and led by women, marketed as refuges from a patriarchal world. The betrayal stings deeper when harm comes from within, especially by another woman. Women are conditioned to be compliant, to trust authority, to put others first, making us uniquely vulnerable. The industry preys on insecurities, promising to fix us. The pursuit of perfection can lead to accepting dangerous practices. Maren Cole allegedly sold an extreme solution to a problem society created for women. Sharing these stories is feminist resistance. It arms women with knowledge and permission to say no. It reminds us our intuition is powerful and must be trusted. By exposing these harms, we challenge a system that profits from women's silence. Healing should never involve fear or surrendering your autonomy. Maren Cole's story is a warning. Be vigilant guardians of your well-being, even in safe spaces. Your intuition is your most reliable guide. Honor it. You have the right to set boundaries, to say no, to walk out of any situation that feels unsafe. Your safety is more important than anyone's agenda. Reject the idea that any guru holds the secret to your enlightenment. True teachers empower you to find your own answers and respect your autonomy. They never ask you to do something that frightens you or makes you feel out of control. Healing is about coming home to yourself, trusting your body, listening to its wisdom, treating it with respect. Reclaim your power. Don't hand it over. Your breath is your life force. It should be free, easy, and nourishing. Let every breath affirm your right to exist, to be safe, and to be whole. Breathe freely. You owe no one your silence, your compliance, or your breath.